This is the RambleCast. You're listening to the RambleCast. It's the RambleCast that you're listening to now. Hello, and welcome to RambleCast.
Hello.
Steve says hello. Alright, what do we have on today, Steve?
I've got some clothes on today.
No. That's not what I'm talking about. What we have on today is a Chinese riot over champ. Does that say damp on cheats? I can't really pronounce it. It's on a newspaper. I've got it right in front of me. I'm not sure if that's a D or it's a C, but something on cheats. Okay. So what it says here is, what should have been a hushed scene of 800 Chinese students diligently sitting in their university entrance exams erupted into a siege of warfare after Invigilators, I don't even, is that how you spell it?
Yep.
Invigilators?
Invigilators, yeah.
Okay, tries to stop them from cheating. Oh my god. Zhang, I'm not sure if I actually pronounced that right. It's in Chinese. City in Hubei province has always performed suspiciously well in the tough Gaeko exams, winning a disappropriate number of places at elite universities. Last year, provincial officials warned the city after finding 99 identical papers in one subject. 99 identical papers. Hey, man,
the school was cheating the system. The school was obviously cheating the system, and they were just giving this same. What they must have been doing was they must have been photocopying the exam 100 times, and because if they do it, then that just it means that their school would have like the highest mean grade in all of the country or something.
Now it continues on from here. Okay,
it's funny because
45 examiners were harshly criticized for allowing cheating. For allowing cheating. This year, students at the number 3 high school were dismayed to find they would be supervised by 54. Yes, this is right. 54 randomly selected external Invigilators, which is like inspectors, people who make sure they don't cheat. 54. Yeah. They had so high in cheating that they had to have 54 people checking up on them that weren't from that school to make sure they didn't cheat. Okay.
Wait, so I'm confused. Was it the kids who were cheating, or was it the teachers who were handing in the exams who had put the right answers in?
It's not that it was the kids that were cheating, right? It was okay. It was the kids who were cheating, but the teachers weren't doing anything about it. That's what the problems were. And then, so basically,
okay. See, I thought what you meant was that the teachers were getting the highest exam grade, like the exam with the highest grade, and handing that in 100 times. That's what I thought you meant.
I still haven't gotten to the funny bit, right? Okay.
Right. Okay.
50 random invigilators yet. Okay. Let me try and say this correctly. I always keep getting it wrong. The invigilators used metal detectors to relieve students of their mobile phones and secret transmitters, some designed to look like erasers. Female invigilators searched female examinees, and the Southern Weekend newspaper reported officials patrolled outside, like, you know, the people who check examinees. There was literally patrols, as if it was like a security to check people for cheating. That's how bad the cheating was at that school.
You know what the thing is, though? At some American schools, they have that kind of thing where, like, because the gun control is such a problem in America, they have, at some schools, they'll actually have metal detectors outside the school so that you can't enter the school with guns.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely crazy. And there was actually a news story about 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, and the story featured in the film Bowling for Columbine, where this boy had found his uncle, because he was staying at his uncle's place. This boy was like 5 years old or something, and he found his uncle's handgun, and he brought it to school and shot a girl at the school, killed her.
Yeah, I know, it's stupid how they have that guns in America. But as I was saying, the story still hasn't.
Well, we have guns over here as well.
Yeah, but not every single person can have a gun over here. It's very easily accessible over there.
Yeah, you can. I mean,
let's get off that topic because I still haven't actually finished the news article yet, Steve.
Okay.
Okay. Officials patrolled to catch people transmitting answers to examinees. At least 2 groups were caught trying to communicate with the students from a hotel opposite the school.
That's clever.
Oh, yeah. For the students and for their parents waiting outside, the new rules went too far. This is as soon as the exams finished, a mob swarmed into the school. I picked up my son at midday. He started crying. I asked him what was up, and he said the teacher had frisked his body and taken his mobile phone from his underwear. Why was his mobile phone in his underwear if he wasn't going to cheat with it? Come on, you're not meant to have a mobile phone in your underwear. Mr. Yin told police later. I was furious and asked him if he could identify the teacher. I said we should go back and find him. By late afternoon, the Invigilators were trapped as students pelted the windows with rocks outside. More than 2,000 people vented their rage, smashing cars and chanting, "We want fairness. There's no fairness if you don't let us cheat."
Well, that makes total sense.
That's the funny part. That's literally what they said. There is no fairness if you don't let us cheat.
There's no fairness if you don't let us cheat. That's like saying, right?
My God.
That's like saying we don't live in you can't live in a free world if you don't have capital punishment.
So, what do you have for us, Steve? What shall be our next story here?
Well, probably the biggest news story this week has been about Edward Snowden. Do you know this story?
No, I haven't. I don't. No, I haven't. I mean, no, I have not heard the story.
Basically, he was an FBI. He was working for the FBI, right?
Yeah.
And he was, and what he's done is he's brought to light how the FBI. I can't remember if it was the CIA or the FBI. I think it was the FBI. No, it was. I have no idea. It was one of the It was one of the defense agencies. And anyway, the American government has been tapping into people's Skype calls, people's Facebook messages, and all this kind of stuff, right? And the reason why. The reason why America says that they've been doing this is so that they can monitor terrorism.
Oh, okay.
But so he's become, in the last week or two maybe, he's become known as somewhat of a whistleblower he's become a whistleblower. I'll just read you out this article that I found. This is okay. I'll just read this out. The United States has charged leaker Edward Snowden with espionage in an attempt to bully other countries into abandoning him, WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange says. Okay, so obviously Julian Assange would be on Snowden's side, and of course, as you may or may not know, Julian Assange is the
Yeah, I know who Julian Assange is.
creator. He's the creator of WikiLeaks, which was the not the company. I mean, the website that would leak information of the U.S. Military information and government information.
Talking about
And
we're talking about Julian
he
Assange.
yeah.
I was just saying, do you support him or are you against him? Or is what?
Yeah,
What do you,
I totally support him.
Yeah,
People say he's like a huge villain, but I reckon he's actually. I mean, he's the good guy. He's bringing forward all this horrible stuff that the army is doing. So
yeah, I agree with that. Like, I don't know
so
why
many people hate him, though. So many people hate him.
Why? They hate him all because he goes against government. You know, he releases information that the government and all these other government things have held back from us. He's not warping the truth or changing things. He's just getting information and giving it to us.
Yeah.
I don't know why people are angry at him. I don't know why. Why are they angry at him?
Because technically he is a criminal.
Yeah, I know. But why should normal people be angry at him? It's the governments that are angry at him, really. They're trying to villainize him to the public.
Yeah, and it's worked. Because everyone hates him now. But no, I really I'm totally in support of Julian Assange. I think he's actually he's done a really good thing.
Hey,
and actually,
Steve, just if you want to check your emails, I think Tim sent you like a whole bunch of news stuff. So if when you finish your story, you can check that for some whole bunch of news as well.
Yeah, but anyway, Julian Assange, he's at the moment he's actually in the UK. He's actually in the Ecuadorian embassy because what happens is if he steps outside of the embassy, he'll be arrested by the English police. However, Ecuador has granted him permission to stay in the embassy, so he's actually stayed in like that room or however big it is for the last year now.
Yeah, I know it's tight. It's apparently a very tiny room, and all he's got is a laptop.
Yeah, but he's trying to find a way how to break out of there, and I think he's talking to his lawyers, and he might eventually get out. But I bet you, if he gets back in, if he goes back to America, I reckon they'll have him killed.
Yeah, I know. They'll definitely kill him. But as I was saying, he could become an Ecuadorian ambassador.
He wants to be part of the Australian Parliament.
I know he wants to be part of the Australian Parliament, but if that doesn't work out, he can become an Ecuadorian ambassador, which means he'll get diplomatic immunity and be able to go. But he would have to go back to, he'll have to go to Ecuador, not Australia.
If he goes I reckon if he can't stay anywhere really but Ecuador because that's the only place that's granted him freedom.
Yeah.
If he goes back to here, which is actually where he's from, he was actually born and raised here.
Yeah.
If he goes back to here, he'll be put in jail. If he goes to the UK, he'll be put in jail, and if he goes to America, he'll probably be killed. That's what I reckon.
I don't understand. I really don't understand this. America kills some guy who's done this, right? But he hasn't killed anyone.
No, but you don't have to kill anyone to be killed.
I don't understand the logic really. Let's kill this guy because he's released information to the public that we didn't want. We didn't want the public to know about this, so let's kill him. So he can't release any more information that we've held back from the public. Yeah, the public deserves to hear.
The thing is, though, the videos that he leaked probably the most famous video from WikiLeaks was a video of these American soldiers killing innocent civilians in Iraq. And because that's been leaked, I mean, that kind of information, if it gets leaked, people can be put away for life. I mean, that's killing of an innocent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So these soldiers want this stuff to be kept very quiet. And so Julian Assange to them is their worst enemy because he's saying, look at these people. They've killed these innocent people. in that video, they actually blew up a hospital, I think, as well.
Why were they doing that?
Basically, I think they were rogues, and they weren't actually assigned to that. They were just They just found some village and were attacking innocents. I don't know why, but they were just yeah.
Well, I think they should really sort that out. Personally, it's just ridiculous. Anyway.
Anyway, so this guy, Edward Snowden, Julian Assange has now sort of taken his side and he's on his side and saying, well, it's a good thing that this guy has told the public all about what the America's doing and how they're tapping into people's calls and Facebook and feeds and all that.
Hi, my name's Joseph, and I'm the leader of the well-known company known as the Nether Corporation, short Nethco, the company that brings you all the evil you could want straight from the Nether itself. Now, I know that we're not known for our good deeds in the world of Minecraft here, but we'd like to change that. I present to you the Helpertron. What is the Helpertron, you ask? Well, it's a type of android where its sole purpose is to help. That's right, potential customer. Didn't expect a product from Nevco to be so good. What does it help you with, I hear you ask? All kinds of things. From moving and placing blocks, from fighting mobs that are attacking you. It even cooks your food for you. And you can even send it mining. You can have yourself a Helpertron for the low price of nothing. That's right, potential customer. Nothing. No evil strings attached at all. Get one from your local Nevco supermart today.
Police on Queensland's Gold Coast have pulled over a 7-year-old boy who was driving a car in Surfers Paradise early this morning. Officers say that they saw the car on the Esplanade at about 3 a.m. and the boy was at the wheel. Police say that a 41-year-old man from New South Wales was sitting in the passenger seat. What?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
The next fragment of this sentence really answers that question. The question for you, if the question you're asking is why the hell would the man be sitting there?
Okay.
A 41-year-old man from New South Wales was sitting in the passenger seat, allegedly under the influence of alcohol. Now, this is just me personally, but any sane-thinking 41-year-old male would not, I would think, let a child of 3 years of age, no, a 7-year-old boy.
Man, 3 years of age? How the hell would he reach the pedals? What the hell is this? No. Oh my god. What a mistake.
Well,
Yet
see, that's
continue.
what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking because I read it as 3 because it said 3 o'clock, and then I read the 7 as a 3.
Oh yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Like, how would he reach the pedals? But even a 7-year-old boy, surely even he would have trouble reaching the pedals.
Yeah.
I remember this news story from like ages ago. It was probably 2005 or something, right?
Yeah.
It was an American story, and it was about a mum of this kid who was probably about 7 or maybe even a bit younger. No, I'd say he'd be about 7 or 8 or something. And the mum told the kid to go and fetch some food from the local supermarket, right?
Okay.
And the kid got in the car, took the mum's keys, drove back. Keep in mind, this kid's like 7 years old or 8 years old probably. And the mum got back. She was petrified, right, as you would be. And then it became a bit of a news story. And when the journalist asked the kid, how the hell did you know how to drive safely? He said, because of Grand Theft Auto.
Because of Grand Theft. How? How did he know because of Grand Theft Auto?
The really funny thing was that he actually drove really well.
But in Grand Theft Auto, you don't drive with this steering wheel. I don't understand. That doesn't sound right. You drive with the sticks or your buttons on.
I suppose if you it's vaguely the same. Like the physics of a car in Grand Theft Auto, I would think would be good enough. so that you could apply that
well, we know.
that acquired information elsewhere. You know, you could yeah, I think that information could be applied.
Yeah, and then you know what? We don't need driving lessons or driving instructors anymore. Just give them all a copy of Grand Theft Auto, and they're good to go.
Well, I mean, when that game came out, oh my God, do you remember when GTA 4 came out? There was so much controversy over that game.
Isn't it controversy?
Controversy?
No, but isn't controversy? I've never heard
No,
of...
it's controversy. It's controversy.
Okay.
Controversy is the American pronunciation.
Oh, okay. I've never heard it I've never heard it any different to that, what I say. I'm not American, but why do I speak it?
Because American media is so prevalent in our society.
Yes, it is. We watch a lot of American movies and things.
Yeah.
No, continue with the story.
Well, that was it, pretty much. That was pretty much the whole story, and that was a while ago. Oh, no, that's right. I was talking about GTA. Well, there was just a lot of controversy when it came out. There was the... do you know the hot coffee Easter egg in San Andreas?
I have not played the full of San Andreas, actually. That's the one I skipped.
It's just called the hot coffee Easter egg. You can look it up on YouTube or something. It was, if I remember correctly, I think it was something that was banned from the game in Australia, but the developers were a little bit sneaky, and they put it as an Easter egg. They put it in as an Easter egg, so it was still accessible, but no one really knew about it until it was already released. Okay. I'll tell you, because it's basically what the Easter egg is you know how in number 4, you go on a date and you can, if you're lucky, your girlfriend, you go back into the house and you have sex.
Is that it? What?
No. In GTA 4, you know how you can do that?
Yeah.
After a date, you can ask your girlfriend back in, and then you can have sex.
Yeah.
In San Andreas, there was a similar thing, except you could ask a woman if she was in your car to fillet you while in the car.
Hey, my name is Bozo. And my name is Dave. And in our spare time, we listen to the RambleCast.
Funny horror stories.
Yeah. Do you know any funny horror stories?
Oh, you mean like Halloween stories?
Yeah.
Yes, I do actually. I'll see if I can find some for you. It might be a bit... I'll have a search, see what I can find. I sometimes save stories that I like a lot. Okay. This is so long, so I apologize for that. I've never had to tell this story with enough detail to actually explain it all the way, but it is true, and it happened when I was about 6 years old. So remember that. This is all true.
Okay.
Apparently. In a quiet room, if you press your ear against a pillow, you can hear your heartbeat. As a kid, the muffled rhythmic beats sounded like soft footsteps on a carpeted floor. And so as a kid, almost every night, just as I was about to drift off to sleep, I would hear these footsteps and I would be ripped back to consciousness, terrified. For my entire childhood, I lived with my mother in a fairly nice neighborhood that was in a transitional phase. People of lower economic means were gradually moving in, and my mother and I were 2 of these people. We lived in the kind of house you see being transported in 2 pieces on the interstate, but my mum took good care of it. There were a lot of woods surrounding the neighborhoods that I would play in and explore during the day, but at night, as things often do to a kid, they took on a more sinister feeling. This, coupled with the fact that due to the nature of our house, there was a fairly large crawl space underneath, filled my mind with imaginary monsters and inescapable scenarios which would consume my thoughts when I was awoken by the footsteps. I told my mum about these footsteps, and she said that I was just imagining things. I persisted enough that she blasted my ears with water from a... What?
What?
She blasted my ears with water from a turkey baster once just to placate me.
What? Blasted.
Did I read that right? Blasted my ears with water from a turkey baster.
What the hell is it? What? Blasted his ears with what?
Anyway, just ignore it. We'll soldier on.
Okay.
To placate me, since I thought that would help. Of course it didn't. Duh. Despite all the creepiness and footsteps, the only weird thing that ever happened was that every now and then I would wake up on the bottom bunk, despite having gone to sleep on the top. But this wasn't really weird, since I'd sometimes get up to piss or get something to drink and could remember just going back to sleep on the bottom bunk. I'm an only child, so it didn't matter. This would only happen once or twice a week, maybe. But waking up on the bottom bunk wasn't too terrifying. But one night I didn't wake up on the bottom bunk. I heard the footsteps, but was too far gone to be woken up by them. And when I was awoken, it wasn't from the sound of the footsteps or a nightmare, but because I was cold. Really cold. When I opened my eyes, I saw stairs. I was in the woods. I sat up immediately and tried to figure out what was going on. I thought I was dreaming. It didn't seem right, though neither did me being in the woods for that matter. There was a deflated pool float right in front of me.
You just shush. You cut off there for a second. Go back.
A deflated pool float.
Go back to the deflated pool float part.
There was a deflated pool float right in front of me. One of those ones shaped like a shark. This only added to the surreal feeling. But after a while, it seemed like I just wasn't going to wake up because I wasn't asleep. I stood up to orient myself, but I didn't recognize the woods. I played in the woods by my house all the time, and so I knew them really well. But if these weren't the same woods, then how could I get out? I took a step and felt a shooting pain in my foot, which knocked me back to where I had just been laying. I had stepped on a thorn. By the light of the moon, I could see that they were everywhere. I looked at my other foot, but it was fine, and as a matter of fact, so was the rest of me. I didn't have another scratch on me, and I wasn't even that dirty. I cried for a little, and then I just stood back up. I don't know which way to go on, so I just picked a direction. I resisted the urge to call out, since I wasn't sure I wanted to be found by who or what might be there. I walked for what seemed like hours. I tried to walk in a straight line and tried to course correct when I had to take detours. But I was a kid and I was very afraid. There weren't any howls or screaming, and only once did I hear any noise that scared me. It sounded like a crying baby. I thought now that it was just a cat, but I panicked. I ran veering in different directions to avoid big thicks of bushes and collapsed trees, and I was paying close attention to where I stepped because by that point my feet were in really bad shape. I paid too much attention to where I was stepping and not enough to where those steps were leading, because not long after hearing the cry I saw something that filled me with a kind of despair I haven't ever experienced since. It was the pool float. I was only 10 feet from where I'd woken up. This wasn't magic or some sort of supernatural space bending. I was lost. Up until that moment, I thought more about getting out of the woods than how I got in. But being back at the beginning caused my mind to swim. I wasn't even sure that these were my woods. I'd only been hoping that they were. I mean, had I run in a huge circle and around that spot, or did I just get turned around and start making my way back? How was I going to get out? At that time, I thought that the North Star was just the brightest star. And so I looked and found the brightest one, and I followed it. Eventually, things started to look more familiar, and when I saw the ditch, which was a dirt ditch that my friends and I would have dirt clod wars in, I knew I had to make it out. By that point, I was walking really slowly because my feet hurt so much, but I was so happy to be so close to home that I broke into a light jog. When I actually saw the roof of my house over a neighboring lower set house, I let out a light sob and ran faster. I wanted to be home. I'd already decided that I wouldn't say anything because I had no idea what I could possibly say. I would get back into the house somehow, clean up, and get in bed. My heart sunk as I rounded the corner and my house came fully into view. Every light in the house was on. I knew my mum was up, and I knew I would have to explain or even try to explain where I'd been, and I couldn't even figure out where to start. My run became a jog, which became a walk. I saw her silhouette through the blinds, and although I was worried about how to explain things to her, that didn't matter to me at this point. I walked up to a couple of steps and to the porch and put my hand on the doorknob and turned. Right before I pushed it open, two arms wrapped around me and pulled me back. I screamed as loud as I could, "Mom, help me, please, Mom!" The feeling of being so close to being safe and then being pulled away from it filled me with a kind of dread that is, even after all these years, indescribable. The door I had been torn away from opened, and a flash of hope shot through my heart. But it wasn't my mum. It was a man. He was enormous. I thrashed around and kicked at the shins of the person holding me, while also trying to get away from the person who had just come out of my house. I was scared, but I was furious. "Let me go! Where is she? Where's my mum? What did you do to her?" As my throat stung from screaming and I was drawing in another breath, I became aware of a sound that had been present for longer than I had perceived it. "Honey, please calm down. I've got you." It sounded like my mum. The arms loosened and set me down, and as man approaching me blocked out the porch light with his head, I noticed his clothes. He was a cop. I turned to face the voice behind me and saw that it really was my mum. Everything was okay. I began to cry, and the three of us went inside. "I'm so glad you're home, sweetie. I was worried I'd never see you again." By that point, she was crying too. "I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. I just wanted to come home. I'm sorry." "It's okay. Don't ever do that again." I'm not sure me or my shins could take it. A little laughter broke out through my sobs, and I smiled a bit. "Well, I'm sorry for kicking you, but why do you have to grab me like that?" "I was just afraid that you'd run away again." I was confused. "What do you mean?" "We found your note on the pillow," she said, and pointed at a piece of paper that the police officer was sliding across the table. I picked up the note and read it. It was a running away letter. It said that I was unhappy and never wanted to see her or any of my friends again. The police offered me a few words with my mum on the porch while I stared at the letter. I didn't remember writing a letter. I didn't remember writing anything of this. But even if I sometimes went to the bathroom at night and didn't remember, or even if I could have gone into the woods on my own, even if all had been true, the only thing I knew at this point was this is happening. I didn't write this letter.
Is that it? Hello?
Yeah.
What? Hello?
Hello.
Was that it?
Yeah, did you hear the end?
I didn't write this letter.
Yeah.
It kind of cut out a bit before. Was it all I know I didn't write this letter?
No. Where did it cut out?
It cut out. I don't know where exactly it cut out, but it said I was looking at the letter and then he said something about all I know, and then it said I didn't write this letter.
Oh. Okay, I'll read you the last bit again. I picked up the note and read it. It was a running away letter. It said that I was unhappy and never wanted to see her or anyone. The police officer exchanged a few words with my mom on the porch while I stared at the letter. I didn't remember writing a letter. I didn't remember writing anything of this. But even if I sometimes went to the bathroom at night and didn't remember, or even if I could have gone into the woods on my own, even if all this could have been true, the only thing I knew at this point was, this isn't how you spell my name. I didn't write this letter.
Oh my god, who did then? Who wrote
Exactly.
the letter? Who did that to him?
And that's a story called Footsteps.
That is creepy. That is really, really creepy. Okay, I found this story, this funny story called The Halloween Surprise. The couple was invited to a swanky masked Halloween party. She got a terrible headache and told her husband to go to the party alone. He, being a devoted husband, protested, but she argued and said she was going to take some aspirin and go to bed, and there was no need for the husband to not have a good time being spoiled by not going. So he took his costume and he went. The wife, after sleeping soundly for an hour, awakened without pain, and as it was still early, she decided to go to the party. Inasmuch as her husband did not know what her costume was, she thought she would have some fun by watching her husband to see how he acted when she was not with him. She joined the party and soon spotted her husband cavorting around on the dance floor, dancing with every nice chick he could and copping a little feel here and a little kiss there. His wife went up to him, and being a rather seductive babe herself, he left his partner and dry.
That was quick.
No, Steve, listen. He left his partner high, as in like the person he was dancing for, high and dry, and devoted his time to the new stuff that had just arrived, which is her. She let him go as far as he wished, naturally, since he was her husband. Since he was her husband, finally he whispered a little proposition in her ear, and she agreed. So off they went to one of the cars and had a little bang. Just before unmasking at midnight, she slipped away and went home.
It's not going to be him. It's not going to be him.
Let me finish the story, Steve, before you ruin it. God. She slipped away.
I'm just going to say that.
Let me finish. Stop it, Steve. She slipped away and went home, and don't, Steve. Seriously. She slipped away and went home and put the costume away and got into bed, wondering what kind of explanation he would make for his behaviour. She was sitting up reading when he came in and asked what kind of time he had. He said, "Oh, the same old thing, I never have a good time when you're not there." Then she asked, "Did you dance much?" He replied, I tell you, I never even danced one dance. When I got there, I met Pete, Bill, and Brown, and some other guys. So we went into the den and played poker all evening. But I tell you, the guy I loaned my costume to sure had a real good time.
I fucking knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yes,
it was
did.
So predictable. That is so predictable.
But it's quite funny still, isn't it? It is quite funny.
It's not funny. It's funny, but because I predicted it, I didn't find it funny.
Well, I find it funny. Anyways.
It is so... Had you predicted that?
Yeah, I predicted it, but I find that quite funny.
As soon as they said something about the husband being masked or something, it was as soon as you said they went off into the car for a quick bang, as soon as that was said, I was like, yeah, it's not going to be the husband.
Why the quick? She said, I had a little bang, so that means it's definitely not the husband.
No, but it was far too predictable.